Before we start the show, remember that Dave Smith Unleashed is brought to you by MTS. Call them at 800-640-6873 for reliable, on-time delivery, compliance you can count on, round-the-clock support, superior communication. It's only calling MTS at 800-640-6873, 800-640-6873. Welcome to another edition of Dave Smith Unleashed. And boy, what an exciting week this is going to be because we're giving away those Rams tickets. Don't forget, one lucky subscriber is getting 4 tickets to see the Rams and the Cowboys on August 9th, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, SoFi Stadium. And those 4 seats right above the tunnel where the Rams come out. So make sure you subscribe because you say, hey, Dave Smith, well, how do I get those tickets? Can I win? Well, sure you can. Why can't it be you? We're already giving away 2 packs of Dodgers tickets in the last couple of months now. August 9th for the Rams. You have to be a subscriber. You have to give us a like. And you have to comment on the YouTube page. And, of course, if you want to subscribe on YouTube, go to youtube.com/@TheDaveSmithUnleashedPodcast. youtube.com/@TheDaveSmithUnleashedPodcast. And who knows? It could be you. You know, I talk a lot about my late father a lot on this show. A very, very funny and a very, very smart man. You know, came up, he was from a different generation, came up through the old school. Lied about his age to get into World War II when he was 16 years old and joined the Navy. Very, very tough guy. Used to tell me, son, you know what? You are I don't know if I can say that word. I'll say wussy instead of the P word. Anybody who pulls out a gun or a knife during a fight is a half a man, is a wussy, is a coward. Son, you put your hands up and you defend yourself. You win some, you lose some, but you fight squarely and you never, never, ever back down. And he also said, you know, there's a lot of times, son, where the rubber meets the road, where it's revenge time, it's get back time. And those are the times that kind of test men's souls. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. My mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary. Boy, had my dad been waiting for this one. 50th wedding anniversary. So we took him up to San Francisco to celebrate. Got him a nice hotel room, stayed in the room right next to him. And then took him out to the Cliff House. You probably all been there, way out there in outer Richmond. Beautiful. The world famous Cliff House. Took him out there for dinner for their 50th anniversary. So we walk into the place and we take our seat, and my dad was looking at me, and he had glee in his eyes. And I said, I wonder what that's all about. Well, he's probably happy that he's been married to the same beautiful woman, my mother, for 50 years, and, it's a night to get out and celebrate. And I told him I'd take him out to dinner. And then he started rubbing his hands together, did that evil laugh. And I said, I think the old man is losing his mind. He said, what's wrong with him? And I said, Dad, what's going on here? He said, son, I'm going to tell you right now, tonight is get-even night. All those years of paying for private school when you went to high school, then paying for your college education. All the times, instead of going out and getting a job like a real man, when you were in college, you begged me, if you're taking a girl out and going out with your buddies or something, I'd always give you a couple of bucks to go out. Always took care of you, a little behind in the rent. I'm always there for a little bit of a loan. I've been there, haven't I? Yes, you have, Dad, and I really appreciate that. And he said, well, tonight is get-even night. And I said, oh, no. Okay. Well, I said, Dad, I'm paying for dinner, right? For you and Mom, it's your 50th wedding anniversary. He said, oh, I know. And you are paying, and I'm getting even tonight, baby. And then the waiter came over, and he ordered the most expensive drink on the menu. I think it was a Long Island iced tea or some kind of exotic martini that was, I think, $15 a pop. And he drank 4 or 5 of them. And my mom drank a couple as well. And that was just then he ordered the most expensive appetizers on the menu, 2 for him, 1 for my mom. And then, of course, the lobster and the steak and lobster dinner, like $50, $60 a piece. Him and my mom both got one. And then I said, well, Dad, are you full? He said, I'm not quite done yet. And by the way, he told the waiter, he said, hey, don't get too far away with those drinks. Just keep them coming, baby. Keep them coming. Don't even wait for me to ask for the next round. So they kept plopping them in front of him, $15 a piece, $15 a piece, $15 a piece. Then it was dessert time. And he looked up and down the menu. I said, and the calculator's going off in my head. Oh, my God, this is going to be an expensive night. He said, I like this frangelica cheesecake with the added spices. It was $18 a slice, and he had 3 of those. That's 18, 30, 50, 54 just with the dessert. My mom had a couple of pieces as well. So when it was all said and done, I'll never forget this bill. when it came to the table, $580 to take my dad out to dinner. I said, Dad, don't you feel guilty doing this to your son? He said, not one twinge of guilt, you freeloader. Not one twinge of guilt. Did you feel guilty when you took all that money from me going to private high school and going to college and going out with your buddies and I'd slip you some cash? I said, I never thought of it that way. Well, you're thinking about it now, aren't you? $580. I remember another time the rubber hit the road. I'm in Little League. My best friend at the time, a lot of you probably remember him, Jim Wakefield. Jim Wakefield was my first partner in radio, in sports talk radio. A lot of people think it was the great Zoe Heim on the Sports God show back at KMEX. But before that, we bought our own time over at KIEV in 1993 and 1994, before we started at KMEX in 95. And my best friend since I was 8 years old, we played Little League together. We went to junior high together. We went to high school together, played on all the sports teams together. Jim Wakefield, he was my first partner when we did the show. Then, of course, he was a lot smarter than us. He had a job as an architect, and he didn't want to go on with radio. He said, you're crazy. Boy, was he smart. In his short time in radio, he saw what a lying, backstabbing, dishonest blood sport it was, and he got out of radio. Smart guy. Me, the dummy, stayed in it for over 30 years. So then I picked up Zoe Heim as the second partner, and from there it was history, going to where I am now. So anyway, Jim Wakefield, my best friend, we played on a Little League team together. And we're 10 years old, and we're in our Little League uniforms, and we just finished a game. And my father used to take us out to get an ice cream after the games. So we pull into the lot. We're in our Little League uniforms. We go into the the ice cream place. I think it was Baskin Robbins. I don't remember. We come out with our ice cream, and we look out, and there's some young punks surrounding my dad's car. One of them is sitting on the hood. The typical look of the time, the long hair and the beard, young, probably late teens, early 20s. And they're either leaning on the car or sitting on the hood. So my dad walks up to the guy sitting on the hood, and he says, excuse me, could you get off my hood, please? We got to get out of here. And the guy looked at him and said, F you, old man. My dad said, oh, okay. It's amazing how he kept his calm. And he walked over to one of the back doors, and he opened the door up, and he said, boys, get in the car here and wait. I'll be right back. Jim and I get into the back seat, and we're looking, and Jim said, what's going on? And I said, wait till you see this. my dad's not going to take this. I guarantee you that. I've been on the other end of a lot of whippings with his belt over the years. So my dad walks around to the front of the car. He didn't ask again. He didn't say please. He didn't say get off the hood. It was whack, a right hand right to the temple. I mean, bam. It sounded like a baseball bat hitting a ball. And the guy went down like he was shot, out cold onto the ground. And his other buddies who were standing around the car kind of backed off and said, damn, we're sorry. And my dad never raised his voice, walked back into the car, got behind the wheel, drove us home. We're talking about the game, talking like it was just a little stroll in the park. He knocked the hell out of a guy and knocked him out cold. And my friend Jim said, does that happen? I said, no, I've never really seen him hit anybody, but I'm not surprised. And he said, well, he wasn't mad. I said, no, he's just, all of the day's work, he's calm. The rubber hit the road. It was get even time. He asked the guy to get off. He said, F you, old man. And he paid the price. That's the way things were handled back then. He was an old Navy man. And I started thinking about that today. When the other day, I watched the press conference with Tulsi Gabbard out there in the White House media room with Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, and Caroline's out there introducing the White House press conference. And she introduces Tulsi Gabbard, and boy, and by the way, I love Tulsi Gabbard. Not only because she's hot, which she is, but boy, she has a backbone of steel. She's accomplished. She's 20 years in the Army Reserves, 3 tours of duty in Iraq, a black belt in martial arts, nobody to mess with, special forces. I just admire the hell out of her. And a former Democrat, by the way. And I tell you, the day I became a huge fan of Tulsi's was when she was a Democrat. Remember the 2016 Democrat, the DNC debate that was on national television? All the Democratic candidates were up there. And Kamala Harris was spewing her normal nonsense. And by the way, no matter what you think about Trump, did we dodge a bullet with that idiot Kamala Harris? Can you imagine if she ever became president? all the word salads and the drunken behavior and the nonsense and the lying. Woo. Say what you will about Trump. We dodged the bullet with that one, didn't we? So anyway, all the Democratic candidates are up on stage. And Kamala, went up there with her line of BS. And I'd never heard of Tulsi Gabbard before that night, but she was a congresswoman from Hawaii, and she just destroyed Kamala. An absolute destruction, took her apart verbally, went over her record of releasing criminals, went over her record of corruption, went over her record of accepting bribes, went over her record of manipulating death penalty sentences. And Kamala was just shaking her head, no, that's not true, that's not true. But she had nothing to come back with because it was all true, and it was a decimation. It ended Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2016. And remember, she was the first one out. There's about 10 candidates up there. She got 1% of the vote, and she was the first one eliminated. See, even the Democrats hated her. And Tulsi did a wrecking machine job on her. And I loved her ever then. She turned to the conservative side. All of a sudden, she's a Trump supporter. All of a sudden, she's MAGA. And now she is the director of national intelligence. So she has her nose to the grindstone here. And boy, she has come up, if this stuff is true, she has come up with some unbelievable bombshells against Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration. And she was up there in front of the White House press corps saying they're releasing documents. And the Department of Justice said they're forming a strike force now to investigate Barack Obama, his administration officials, Hillary Clinton, James Comey, James Clapper, Joe Biden, John Brennan, Susan Rice. Comey was the FBI director. Clapper was the DNI director. John Brennan was CIA. Susan Rice was the ambassador to the UN and a close confidant of Barack Obama's. And Tulsi was saying there's going to be accountability for the American people. And on she went about how they fabricated evidence. There was no such thing as Russiagate. And, Russiagate, in my opinion, has been completely debunked. That the Russians, and her charges say, that Russiagate was made up to try and stop Donald Trump after he won the election in 2016. And Hillary Clinton paid $12 million for a phony document called the Steele dossier. And it was a fabricated, manufactured, invented document, according to Tulsi Gabbard and according to people who were investigating this. And, kudos to her. I mean, a backbone of steel, bravery, digging for, and she's going to catch hell for this. And there's going to be, the deep state and the other side are going to go after her both barrels now. She's got to get ready for this, her and her family. And again, I think Tulsi Gabbard is the best appointee that Donald Trump made in his cabinet, better than any of them. I'm a huge fan of hers. And I would love to see her be the presidential nominee with J.D. Vance in 2028, because I assume J.D. is going to get the nomination. But boy, she went on and on and on in front of that White House press corps about accountability for the American people. Accused Barack Obama, she actually said this, of treasonous sedition by giving the order to publish the Russia collusion hoax when it wasn't true. And then paying for the Steele dossier, which was a fabricated, invented document, according to her. And now she has put criminal referrals to the Department of Justice and the FBI. See, I think I know what was going on here. Obama and Biden and Hillary and all the people in office back then, back in 2016, they had no clue that Donald Trump could actually win running against Hillary. They thought it was in the bag. And they were thinking, we can pretty much make up whatever we want. We can make up lies. We can pay for a Steele dossier. We can invent some Russia collusion hoax, whatever, because he's not going to win. And then once Hillary's in office, we can bury this whole thing and nobody will ever see it. Done deal. Well, bad news for them. Donald Trump did win. And now all these years later, Tulsi Gabbard seems to have dug up some very, very damaging information. Well, now the question is, and I think we all know, that the Republican Party has been gutless, spineless, complicit, and colossally disappointing over the years. Nothing they ever do gets done. Remember the Durham report? Oh, the Durham report. Oh, boy, this is going to break the back of the Democratic Party. This is a bombshell. This is going to put people in jail. And nothing. 4 years later, nothing. You got the Jim Jordans of the world. Jim Jordan, the king of the strongly worded letters and threatening investigations. And Comer, another do-nothing. But Tulsi Gabbard seems to be cut from a different cloth. Now, who doesn't seem to be cut from a different cloth, and somebody who I have not liked, is Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, who has done absolutely nothing in 7 months except lie about the Epstein files and hide the Epstein files. Remember they said during the campaign, any politician who obstructs ICE and ignores federal deportation orders will be arrested under 8 U.S.C. 1324. And under that statute, you are arrested if you obstruct or interfere with ICE agents doing their job with deportations. There's been dozens of politicians who have done that in the past 7 months. Hell, AOC, she got up and held a town hall, and she looked into the camera, and she said, yes, I have coached illegal aliens on how to lie to and hide from ICE. Yes, I will continue to do it. Yes, I will continue to do it in the future. And Tom Homan, you're a coward. Come and get me. You know where I am. You're not man enough to do it. How she wasn't arrested that day under 8 U.S.C. 1324, I don't know. Brandon Johnson's done the same thing. Karen Bass has done the same. Dozens of politicians have openly defied federal deportation orders, and they haven't been arrested as promised by Tom Homan and Pam Bondi back during the campaign. So I've been very, very disappointed in her. Now, why wouldn't she want the Epstein files to come out? Now, I have a theory about this. Now, am I right? I don't know. Another group I hate are the Bushes, the Bush crime family. All of them. Criminals, all of them. Now, Pam Bondi was the attorney general in Florida when Jeb Bush was the governor, and she was a former state attorney before that. When, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein got that slap on the wrist. Remember that in 2007? When it was proven that he was molesting underage kids on Epstein Island. He was caught red-handed, found guilty, and I think he served 18 months, and during the day, he was released to go to work. He only had to sleep in the jail at night. It was one of the most unbelievably light sentences, slap on the wrist you'll ever see. Under Pam Bondi and others' watch, Jeb Bush. And she is the reason I didn't like her and the reason I was against her being nominated the attorney general when Matt Gaetz dropped out is because she's a 20-year loyalist and supporter of the Bush crime family, loyal to Jeb Bush. Remember in 2016, she endorsed Jeb Bush for president over Trump, and she got up on the microphone and called Trump a con man back then. And this is just a theory of mine. I don't know if it's true or not. Why she's against releasing the Epstein files, who knows? I think it's because she's a loyalist. She took her orders when she was Florida Attorney General and state attorney. She took her orders from the Bush crime family, namely Jeb, and from Karl Rove. And maybe John Roberts, another Florida resident. And the Bush crime family, now I'm not saying they're pedophiles or on Epstein Island or anything, but their business associates, in my opinion, certainly were. Their business associates were the Clintons, were the Saudi royal family, were the British royal family, captains and titans of industry and billionaires and very influential people from all over the world who were part of that whole Epstein Island group. And I think the Bush crime family and Karl Rove did not want that Epstein thing, because they made a lot of money with their rich, perverted business partners all over the world. And I think Pam Bondi followed orders and never pursued it. Now, is she still doing it now? Well, up until this week, it certainly looked that way. Now she's trying to get files released, supposedly. We'll see. But to me, she has been a tremendous disappointment. And is she a deep stater? I have my suspicions. Is she anti-Trump? I have my suspicions. Remember the way she botched the Trayvon Martin case when she was Attorney General of Florida? I mean, come on. She was a terrible Attorney General there, and she's been a terrible Attorney General here. Now we'll see what she does here, though. Now that Tulsi Gabbard has released these files. The big question is, now I don't think Barack Obama will ever see a day in a prison cell or be arrested. But will they have the balls to do it? Now, you have to think. Now, when I opened the show talking about get even time, look at Trump right now. After he lost the election in 2020, he was indicted several times. He was found guilty in a courtroom in New York City and Washington, D.C. They tried to give him 700 years in jail. And the assassination attempt. Who knows who was really behind that? So you can make a case. He didn't win the election. He was put into several trials. They tried to give him 700 years, and they tried to somebody tried to assassinate him. I don't believe for a second Crooks was acting alone there, but there was an assassination attempt. So this is what I talk about with my dad. Now it's get even time, isn't it? And Trump said the other day, I was the hunted, now I'm the hunter. And he went on and on and on the other day about Barack Obama committed treason. He should be held accountable. He should go to jail. So should sleepy Joe Biden. So should crooked Hillary. All the words he uses. And Tulsi Gabbard, there's not much more she can do. She's released all these files. She said she's got the goods on Obama and all the rest of them, and that she has enough to arrest them and throw them in jail. And she referred all of these criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. So now it's up to Pam Bondi. Pam, there's no more excuses. I mean, you have to act on this. You have to be, there have to be arrests and prison sentences. At least with some of them. Who's going to be the sacrificial lamb? I don't think it's going to be Obama. I don't think it'll be Hillary. I don't think it'll be Joe Biden. Will it be James Comey? Will it be James Clapper? Will it be John Brennan? Will it be Susan Rice? Who's going to jail? Will they have the balls to go after Barack Obama and arrest him? Now, that'd be something, huh? I used to do, when I was working in Portland, the Dave Smith Show, I lived for 2 years in Portland, Oregon, and I was doing the middays, noon to 3. Loved living in Portland, had a great time up there. And at the time, Craig Robinson was the head basketball coach at Oregon State University, who is Barack Obama's brother-in-law. He's Michelle Obama's brother. And he was the head coach at Oregon State. So I interviewed him a few times. I had some dealings with him because I was living in Portland and I was covering Oregon Ducks football and basketball and the Trailblazers. And I did a comedy bit one day, and I had some other voices, some other people I worked with at the station. And Craig Robinson wasn't doing well. Oregon State had a losing record, and there were rumors that he was going to get fired. And I said, here's Craig Robinson in the athletic director's office about to get fired. Well, Craig, the time has come. You're not doing well. You're under 500 a year. We were expecting better progress. We appreciate the work you put in, but I think the time has come that we have to make a change here. We've got to move on to somebody else and bring in a new coach. And then Craig Robinson looks at the athletic director and says, oh, hold on a minute. I got a call here. Do you mind? Oh, sure. Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead. Hello, Barack. Yes. Oh, I'm in the athletic director's office right now, and they're terminating me. I'm losing my job here as the head basketball coach. But what are you going to do? What's that, sir? What's that, Barack? Oh, okay, sure. He would like to speak with you, Mr. Athletic Director. Oh, really? Okay. Hello? Hello, Mr. President. How are you, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, goodbye, Mr. President. Then he looks at Craig Robinson and says, would a 10-year contract for $100 million be satisfactory? Craig. I used to say Craig Robinson's got the safest job in all of Division I basketball with his brother-in-law being president of the United States. So this is kind of get even time. This is going to be fascinating. Well, Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, the DOJ combined with the FBI, will they go after Obama and Hillary and Joe Biden along with the rest of them? Will there be pre-dawn raids at the home of Barack Obama like there was with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago? Will there be pre-dawn raids of all of them looking for information? Will they go on trial? Will they actually go to jail? I mean, will their passports be confiscated so they can't leave the country? This is going to be interesting. I know Tulsi has the guts. I know if it were up to her, she'd do it. I just don't think Pam Bondi has the stones. I don't think she has the will to do it. Although Donald Trump should call her into his office and say, hey, listen, I've been loyal to you. I've been talking about what a great job you've been doing, Pam Bondi. But this is it. You either arrest and prosecute all these people, including President Obama, or you're fired tomorrow morning. I mean, because there's no excuses now. Bondi's done nothing so far, but now she's got supposedly the receipts, the emails, the texts, the phony dossier, eyewitness testimony. It seems like she's got him dead bang. So this is it. This is Pam Bondi's Waterloo right here. She has to do something. And by the way, before we go here, there's talk about a Tulsi Gabbard Christie Nome ticket in 2028. Now, I think J.D. Vance is going to get the nomination, of course, being the VP. And I think he and Tulsi would be a great ticket, right? I think there's your ticket right there. But if for some reason J.D. doesn't want to do it or can't do it, Tulsi, and no, you talk about, you can call that the hottie ticket. I think Tulsi is really sexy. I think she's really pretty. And Kristi Noem is hot. I mean, I know in her early 50s, she's beautiful. And if you're going to go all hotties, go with Tulsi and Kristi Noem. How about putting Anna Paulina Luna, our bikini congresswoman from Florida, who might be the hottest one of them all? Put her maybe as Secretary of State. Who knows? Nancy Mace, another hottie. Lauren Boebert. Have you seen Lauren Boebert in a bikini on the beach? I mean, that is some good body. How about that? Tulsi, Kristi Noem, Anna Paulina Luna, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert running things. At least we'll have something good to look at. That would be the hottie administration of all time. But what is going to happen to Barack Obama and the rest? Will the Department of Justice have the stones to prosecute and actually throw them in jail? This is going to be interesting. If you want to know all about the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast, where can I watch it? When is it going to be on? Who are the guests going to be? Well, go to me, follow me on Twitter, @DaveSportsGod, @DaveSportsGod, and I'm always talking about the shows and who's going to be on and what days are going to be on. Hopefully all of you subscribe and give us a like and give us a comment, and you could win those 4 Rams tickets on August 9th. We're going to announce the winner next week. Rams-Cowboys August 9th at SoFi Stadium. So that's it for Dave Smith Unleashed. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening, and make sure and subscribe.